Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome to the Next Block, episode 112. Thank you. Make some noise, make some noise. We here at Decipher, and we have a whole bunch of interviews for y'all lined up. So I hope you enjoy them. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Leave some comments in the chat. Hey, what's up, y'all? We're here with our first interview. I have a special guest, Michael Cotton. How you doing, Michael?
Good, Will. How are you, mate? Thank you very kindly for having me.
Yes, most definitely. I'm good. So let's start off, for the audience who don't know who you are, a quick introduction of the companies that you run or invested in, and then your name.
Yeah, certainly. So Michael Cotton founded Meld Gold. So we officially started building in the Algorand ecosystem in 2019, so pre-mainnet launch. Which was, a really interesting time. There was a lot of excitement around what was coming, and really, Silvio's dream of solving the trilemma was, that was the pinnacle of excitement around that concept, and things like the Lex Friedman interview were coming out. So it was a really exciting time, and we started then to build out gold and silver issued on the Algorand blockchain, so physical RWAs, which has their own nuances. As well as that, we also formed Meld Ventures and started investing into the ecosystem. So we invested in things like Tiny Man and Folks Finance and Pact and Exa Markets and a whole range of other projects. So we've had a lot of great times with a lot of people that have been here for a long time and built a lot of really good relationships. And yeah, it's been awesome.
Excellent, nice. So that's Michael Cotton. Big things is happening. So let's talk about some of the narratives. Over the years in crypto, people have been focused on NFTs. They've been focusing on tokenization as of recently, and then even more real world assets. So can I get your thoughts on real world assets and speak on what you're doing with Meld Gold and then Algorand's potential to gain traction in the real world asset space?
Yeah, what's really important for real world assets and where they really find their value is access and utility. So anyone who's heard me talk about this is maybe a bit repetitive, but I think these core messages are really strong, which is the velocity that things like blockchain give to assets like gold and silver, is the ability for them to be accessible globally. So whether you're in Latin America, India, Asia, the US, Australia, to be able to buy cents worth of gold at a time at a fraction of a cent cost, is the kind of access that hasn't been possible in the past in such a global way. And then utility. So in order for you to really achieve utility, you need ease of understanding ownership and authority. And that's the really brilliant part about blockchain technology is you can very, very easily and quickly identify, okay, you do own the asset.
Yep.
And you can demonstrate your authority over the asset to make a transaction or to commit to, for example, Folks Finance to get a loan. So there's also two sides to real world assets. You've got fungible, pretty easy to understand. You digitize gold and it's fungible down to multiple decimal places. And then you've got what we use internally is the term NFAs, which is NFTs, but it's non-fungible assets versus non-fungible tokens.
New term for me right there.
Exactly. So the idea being a non-fungible asset that's backed by real world assets, we class as slightly different because I do think at the moment, which is very common with early use cases, we kind of bundle everything into NFTs, but there's so many different versions of what could be an NFT, from identity to a contract to a PFP to an incredible digital artwork to a collectible, through to things like a very specific gold bar or a very specific diamond or a very specific Pokemon Charizard first edition. You can have so many different versions. So we start to think about the distinguishing factors between like an NFT that's backed by an RWA and then the other NFTs. So we're thinking a lot about carving out what the real world asset version of NFTs look like. Okay. So we've got a lot of work going on that. I take a leaf out of Ted from Exa Market's book. I don't like to give too much away too soon, but there's some good stuff coming.
Nice to hear. Okay, so a question that a lot of people have, and myself too, is how does the reserve process work when you have gold minted on the blockchain? Like, where is the gold sitting there? Is it in a vault and things of that nature? If you could break that down.
Yeah, correct. So where Meld Gold is probably a bit different to a lot of other gold issuers on chain, is we work with the industry. So most of the other gold issuers are taking gold and digitizing it. Where we're kind of different is we work with the industry to bring them on chain. The reason for that is we see most of the gold industry as the alternative banking system. Okay. So if you look at the thousands of gold retailers globally, for example, they all do KYC, they all do AML, they all deal in alternative assets, they all deal in an asset class that's actually kind of similar to crypto, but it's a physical format. So they're actually well equipped to understand the industry, understands the concept, and service the kind of customers in a way that will be needed for this sort of next generation of operations. So you have that side, and where that's important is it means we can distribute the gold physically in a more distributed fashion. So instead of being in 1 or 2 vaults, we've got the ability to access the industry of storage, which is the industry of high quality vaults that meet the right standards to be a custodian for metal. So at the moment, for example, it's stored within Australia in Imperial Vaults, which is one of Australia's highest rated security vaults, and MKS Pant in Switzerland. But we also have who are the biggest gold trader in the world, for example. We also have vaults around the world that can participate. So as we grow, we can start storing in Hong Kong and Singapore and London and sort of expand that network. What's really interesting, and maybe not to bore you too much, but probably the key issue with physical assets on chain is how do you get from something that has no digital tangibility, how do you get information about that asset and that it exists to the blockchain? Now, that is particularly hard. That is the problem that we have put an incredible amount of work into. Some of the people who have been snooping around have found some of our patent work that's being processed at the moment. So they've sort of alluded, you've been able to find some breadcrumbs as to what we've been doing. But a lot of our work has been how do we minimize the trust between a physical asset and the digital representation? And I say minimize because in reality, a physical asset has to exist somewhere. Someone somewhere has it. But how do we make it so that the trust component of that is as small as possible? And that's where we've been doing a lot of work, and hopefully we'll have some really interesting news. We've got working on the beta at the moment that's looking really strong. So the dream is, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you will be able to go, this is the most trusted digital representation of the asset that I can have. So I'm willing to use this as an alternative to fiat, for example.
Yes, that's great. So gold, we know gold has been around for thousands of years, and I think it's a great asset as well. So let's talk about Algorand's potential of tokenizing these type of assets, golds, the silvers. We know Lofty AI does houses and things of that nature. What's your thoughts on Algorand being in position to do that?
Well, the key use case or the key value proposition for RWAs being access and utility. In order for there to be real access and then real utility, you need it to be smooth, fast, low cost, instant, all these things that actually make it usable. So a great example would be, and we had this issue early on when we looked at issuing on Ethereum before we looked at issuing on Algorand. The transaction cost would mean, let's just say you've got a few dollars worth of gold in your wallet. It actually wouldn't be worth necessarily sending it because your transaction fees are going to outweigh the value.
Yes.
So a really great example would be, number one, we might end up with crumbs left across the globe, which means we've got to store, insure, and look after that metal forever, which is a real cost because it's a real asset.
Crumbs, small amounts.
Exactly, that don't outweigh the transaction cost. And then secondly, what happens then with those transaction costs as well is what it means is it's inaccessible to a majority of the globe because the transaction costs make it impossible for someone to use in so many parts of the world.
Makes sense.
Where the value of money is very different, right? So that's where Algorand really comes in. Anyone in the world can do an Algorand transaction. Like the transaction fees are low enough that anyone in the world could actually start buying their groceries with gold instead of dollars and using that as a form of value. And in many cases, the transaction fee is so low that the value increase for the user actually outweighs the transaction fee. So it's actually in many cases a net positive for the user, which is super interesting. So you look at countries where their own currency is incredibly devalued and deflating. If you want to use USD, it's actually really expensive to get between them. Whereas gold settles at a really low rate when we can streamline the supply chain and access to that asset.
Yes, a lot of countries have been experiencing a lot of volatility right now. Even in the U.S., we got a lot of inflation and things going on, but gold, steady, price all the time.
Well, and I think the big thing too, if you look at where the future lies, we're deep, so we talk a lot about blockchain tech. We talk a lot about how it's used. We're using things that are sometimes very hard to use because we're early adopters and we believe, right? But most of the world is not even going to understand they use blockchain technology. I actually heard a talk a year or two ago, and the way they described it, which I really, really loved, is they talked about the SSL certificate when you're surfing the web. And they talked about the idea of you're just going to see this little chain in the web browser and you would know that your identity is secured by blockchain or the transaction just did was secured by blockchain, and that would be the only real indicator that what you actually did was on chain. Wow. And I think that's abstraction, interesting, right? And I think that abstraction is what's really needed, and this is where hyper-performant chains like Algorand are necessary for the smoothness of that kind of abstraction to take place.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's Algorand's in position. We'll say that, as we all know. So I know y'all been watching the presentations out there. So can you speak on some of those partnerships you mentioned, like Pact, XREM? Speak on a little bit what you're doing with Meld Gold in them.
Yeah, so look, some of it's, very much about creating utility for the asset. So, being able, and liquidity. So things like working with Pact and Tinyman, working with the Para team, working with Folks Finance to allow you to take. So right now, for example, you can take your gold and borrow Bitcoin at sub 1% interest rate in sub 10 seconds. Which is crazy to think about. You think about the idea, and gold to Bitcoin, like that's a super interesting concept,
that's a
right?
perfect.
That's a magic. Yeah. So that's really where some of these partnerships come into value. And I've just had a panel today with some of the guys, and we talked a lot about. Most of us have been working together for years. We've built really good relationships because also one of the best audits is time. The longer someone's in market, the longer they are able to stand up a product, the longer they can be present. It's actually one of the most valuable sort of audits. And thankfully, we've all worked together for a long time, built really good relationships. And it's helped grow the ecosystem and grow utility because we've been able to work together and do a lot of different things. And then you've got things like Realms, and we've recently just announced the idea of mining physical gold in the metaverse.
Yeah, I love that, the animation. Shout out to the Realms teams,
Yeah.
Great animation. Yeah, so mining gold inside of the metaverse.
Exactly. Yeah, which is a really interesting idea, right? Because in-game gold is not a foreign concept, but traditionally it hasn't been in-game gold that was gold. So I think that'll be super interesting. The guys have got some really interesting ideas of how they do it, and we've been excited to help support them and do what we can to hopefully give them what they need to do something really cool.
Yeah, that's huge. Oh, excellent. Okay, so as we start to close out, is there anything else you would like to share? I know you still have more talking to do here at Decipher, but is there anything else you could share or any alpha you would like to share, if possible, with the audience here?
Oh God, that's pressure. Look, nothing crazy, but anyone out there, if you ever want to chat to me or send me a message, please feel free. I'm always up for a chat. And plenty more exciting things to come.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Hey, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to another interview. We have a special guest here, Robert from UNDP. Thank you, Robert, for joining the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. So let's talk to our audience and let them know your name again and then your position with the UNDP.
So hi, everybody. I'm Robert Pasicko. I'm Innovation Team Leader in United Nations Development Program, UNDP, in Istanbul, Regional Hub. This is where we work on our regional and global projects. Our team is working actively with Algorand Foundation on a number of interesting things connected with blockchain, crypto, Web 3.0, and I would say we are already halfway to somewhere, but still building the bridge and working on it.
Excellent. All right, that sounds good. So when this announcement came out, all the people on Algorand community Twitter was very excited and also curious of what it all means. So can you break down the partnership with Algorand and give a nice overview of what you guys are working on and then why you guys are working with Algorand?
Sure. So Algorand was recognized as one of the important partners who is focused on impact, who is focused on development, who is already working in this area, has something to show, something to bring, and Algorand help us to develop, to start with our blockchain academy, joint blockchain academy, where we are basically offering possibility for training to our staff and to all UN personnel to learn more about what are the good use cases when it comes to really implementing this, not only discussing, not only theoretical knowledge, but like what is out there, and how it can be brought into their projects that they already have and how they can expand it a bit more. And we already learned a bit more and got into implementation.
Okay. So with this program, can you give a rough estimate of how many people are in the program and some of the countries that you're working out?
So we have just finished our beta testing of the Blockchain Academy, and now we are working we are on a course to launch it open for all UN personnel and to our NGOs and with whom we work sometime this autumn. And so it will be really open to the 10,000s of different users and people in a self-paced, organized way. And we are very happy with how it went with the beta testing, and happy to also connect the other important things which are merging to this. So we have it's not just a static thing, but it's more as a dynamic, something where we can bring more materials, more user cases, and that will help us actually to show the impact and to show what is going on in the world of blockchain and why it matters to the ordinary people.
Yeah, sounds good. I like it. A lot of information there and things to see in the future with the UN. So I want to talk about some of the main focus areas, right? So if you can go, we can start with financial inclusion, and what are y'all thinking about with financial inclusion in Algorand in particular?
Sure. So I would say the world where we live, there are huge problems, and digital divide is being one of them, and then digital divide is kind of opening up on other areas as well. So we live in a world where over 1 billion people still don't have identity. If they don't have identity, then they don't matter almost. Like they cannot vote, they cannot use any services. But also over 1.7 billion people don't have a bank account, they are unbanked. Like nobody, if they want to have some services, they cannot. So this is where we believe is one of the first steps where we should go into combining also digital identity and then the decentralized ways how to bring finance, how to make digital payments among them, and how to support some of these things.
Excellent. Okay, and then supply chain with transparency. Can you break down what y'all doing there?
Yeah. So I would say half of the world, like half of the population, lives from agriculture, and majority of them are underpaid, and they are not. For them, it's very difficult to really show why their product is really special, like that it's not something fake, that it's not something industrial. If we want to go beyond just a sticker which says fair trade, we need to dig deeper, right? So it's really half of the population. And we are developing solutions on the track and trace. We have some early learnings, but what we believe in next few years, like each such farmer should be able to show like where for example this cocoa or argan oil has been really taken care of and packed, and what is the, like what that there is an identity to this, right? That you can trace from the first mile until the last mile.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. Yeah, a couple of projects that made me come to mind. Fame is one of them. If I know some of y'all heard of them. HesabPay. I know I'm thinking about agro token and whatnot. Yeah. All right. So real world assets and then also digital identity. You kind of spoke on that one, but real world assets. What's y'all goals there?
Yeah. So there is also big interest in organization for the tokenization, such as carbon credits. How do we really measure them in a decentralized way, and then we put them like without somebody really checking them, like a person, in a more automatic, decentralized way. Or we have some experience with proving the solar energy which was built somewhere, or some other cases with tokenization. I would say like maybe fractionalization of green bonds, like so that everybody can invest in some green financing, which is then happening for some countries or for some companies, so that we don't leave it only to the big players, but through tokenization we can also bring ordinary people into impact investment. They can invest their money, but not only with the idea, you put it in, I don't know, like Nvidia, and then you watch in news, will it go up, will it go down, right? You put in somewhere where it will create impact, and then you are sure that impact is there, and you're also expecting some financial return back on this.
Yeah, so the impact and climate investing, a lot of that.
Exactly.
Makes sense, yeah. Definitely a big thing. I love tokenization. Another platform I wanted to shout out is Lofty AI is doing that with real estate.
Exactly, yes.
So see that more of that happening. So in terms of the partnership with Algorand and the education, where are y'all at in y'all timeline? If you can also speak on some of the goals for the rest of this year.
So how we set up the whole thing with Blockchain Academy is that it's not only training, right? So the training is just like first level is awareness raising and then training, but the idea is that through this training, we actually get ideas on what our governments need, what our country offices need, what our colleagues think that should be taken care. So this is not, we don't want to centralize it. We don't want to tell them, guys, you should be working on tokenization, right? We want these solutions and ideas to come from them. And we already have really interesting ideas which are emerging. In the next phase in autumn, when we start it fully, we expect hundreds of different ideas to come. And then this is where we need support from other partners to actually put them in life, right? It cannot stay just as an idea. It cannot, we don't want to have a paper behind this, right? We don't want to have our research is showing that this is needed. Yeah, we know that, but let's dive into this, right? Let's do something about it. Let's show that we have a proof of concept, that this proof of concept can be upscaled, that we can create sustainable change.
Well, that sounds great. I'm rooting for the whole program, so I'm one of those people that was very excited to hear about it.
Great.
Yeah, so let's start to close out. Is there anything else you would like to share about the program or your role with helping this thing grow?
Yeah, like one of the things that actually emerged from all of these talks is also the work on humanitarian council for digital payment. This is where we kind of managed to bring some of the brightest people who are working, who know more about the digital payments together. And this is where we are planning how can we bring some great use cases such as HesabPay in Afghanistan. How do we bring them to other countries, right? How do we bring this concept? How do we bring such use cases so that digital payments is really open to everybody, right?
Yep.
Because, for example, I don't know, if you are an NGO today working from Burkina Faso, there is almost no way that somebody funds you, right? So
if you different there,
especially with all the things happening now in Palestine, for example, or happening throughout the Arab states, so many countries have a really breakdown banking system. So it's how do we help them? How do we make this system work? But that still will remain the verification and transparency, so that we still know what is going on and that it's used for the positive purpose, and that will limit money laundering issues, terrorist financing, and all these black things that governments are afraid of.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Again, I'm happy to have you on, Robert. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the breakdown,
Yes.
and then good luck on the whole program.
Super. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Hey, what's up, y'all? We're back with another interview here. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. So we have a special guest, Meld of the Algorand Foundation. How are you doing?
Good, I'm good. Hi, everyone. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so this is the first time on the next block, so make sure y'all clap while y'all watching. So can you, for those who don't know you, can you tell them your name again and then what your role is with the Algorand Foundation?
For sure. So my name is Minh Wei. I'm the EVP of Ecosystem at Algorand Foundation, responsible for figuring out ways to grow the ecosystem throughout, bringing new developers in, helping projects succeed, and see them take off.
Excellent. That sounds great. So let's start. Those who've been watching, you've seen Stacy and John talk about the growth of the ecosystem, but now we're going to get Mend to talk about it a little bit more. So those areas of growth like transactions per second, active wallets, partnerships, TVL, can you speak on what you have noticed and what you've seen throughout your time here with Algorand?
Yeah, I think the momentum this year just has been incredible. Like all the numbers that Stacy and John and Marc have shared, 2 billion transactions this year. In fact, that followed an all-time high of a single-day transaction of 43 million transactions, right? That put us in the top 5 of any chain that can handle that type of volume. And I think, when we kind of look at volume, we also want to look at throughput. Our network was able to handle over 5,700 transactions per second. That is just remarkable. So I think those kind of numbers just get us super excited, and just it's the momentum, and you just can't deny it. And the thing that I feel like really drives home for me is what's driving all that activity on chain. It's the 16,000 smart contracts deployed on the network, and that's just the projects that are building. So that gets me just pretty psyched.
Yeah, it's huge. I remember that day with the 43 million too.
Yeah, it was January.
January. Yeah, so it was
that's
like
right.
start the new year off with a bang.
With a
right?
bang,
Yeah.
that's right. Kind of like today,
Yeah.
we started off Decipher with the big bang announcement of USDCA on Coinbase.
Yeah.
That's how we like to do
Yeah,
things.
speaking of that, what do you think about that impact of, that's something the community been talking about for a while, is specifically that USDC. What are you thinking?
I mean, I'm so excited. Of course, we've been working on this deal for a long time. So Devin on my team has been just, it's the complexity of this deal is hard to it's hard to exaggerate, but it is. He worked so hard, and we are so excited to be able to announce it at Decipher. This and
Perfect
it's going to be.
timing. Yeah.
I think it is. It's going to be a game changer for us as an ecosystem. It's going to extend the access to USDCA for so many users because it's now on Coinbase.
Yep.
But it's also going to make it so much easier for applications and developers to incorporate USDC into their on-ramps as well, right? So it just completely, it's going to change the game for us as an ecosystem. And I'm so excited to be able to announce this at Decipher.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone's very excited on
Yeah.
Twitter. Algo fam, I know y'all happy about that. So let's kind of transition a little bit. So you're doing growth and everything, and we've all seen the new podcast, Verifiably Random. So can you speak on why y'all created it and like some of those goals there for having it?
Well, it's fun to do a podcast, just to be able to talk about things that are not necessarily unique or specific to Algorand, but I think these big topics really help bring out some of the reasons why Algorand shine, right? And so I think we just, the goal for this is really to kind of, bring more awareness about topics that we're thinking about at the foundation, big themes, right? Quantum computing, identity, and AI. These are big topics that we don't get to talk about, and it's just really nice to be able to pull in the talent from the team and within the ecosystem. And then it's just like kind of fun to be able to get together with John and Marc to just chit chat.
Yeah, definitely. So guests, what type of guests are y'all going to continue bringing on the show? Is it, let's break that down.
Well, I mean, it's
whatever you can share.
Well, no, I mean, it's like we want to keep it a little bit secret. No, I'm kidding. I think we want to be able to pull in voices that can speak with credibility and authority on the topics that we want to talk about. And we also just want to make sure we include people within the ecosystem too. We have so many talented people.
Yes.
So I think we for season 2, we want to get a nice mix of non-Algorand, Algorand Foundation, right? We want to get a good group of people in there because there's so much there's so much stuff going on. I just want to make sure every voice gets to be included.
Makes sense, and I feel like this is a good year of explosion for Algorand in terms of definitely what we're hearing here at Decipher. So let's look into the rest of 2024. What can you share or what you expect to happen or want to happen throughout 2024 and then a little insights into 2025?
Yeah, I mean, for the rest of 24, so today, right, just today, we have made quite a few announcements. We have USDC on Coinbase. We're going to be launching a debit card on Para, right? We have Nansen integrating Algorand, and that's just the beginning. So I think the rest of 2024 is really being able to execute on these amazing partnerships that we've actually closed to make sure that we do bring the real value into the ecosystem that these deals promise. So I think that's very important for us. And then we are continuing to grow and make sure that we support the ecosystem throughout. So as we mentioned, ecosystem success is all about bringing the concierge level support for the projects, right? We want to make sure we continue to do that because I think for 2025, what would be amazing is to see some of our projects, the high potential projects really take off, whether it's, getting listed on these exchanges or getting new funding or just, hitting more user growth. That would make us all feel like we've really done our jobs here.
Makes sense. Yeah, that sounds great. Hopefully that all happens. Everyone wants it to happen. And I think now, especially from last Decipher to this Decipher, I really do like the focus that we have here. And I think there will be a lot of impact and it's kind of showing. As we start to close out, is there anything else you would like to share or any shout outs or talk about your experience here today?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to give a huge shout out to the team at the foundation for putting this amazing event together. I mean, just the space and then launching this new brand identity. it feels a little bit like a rebirth. It's so fun and exciting.
I love the colors. Yeah,
it's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you, man. It was good, and we'll do this again sometime. Thank you for being on. Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome back. Another interview, and we have new CMO Marc. Happy to have you here on the next block.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes. So this has been people have been waiting for this one, so we're very excited to do it. So let's start off again just with an introduction of yourself, and then what's your role at Algorand for our audience who haven't met you yet.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for having me. I'm Marc van der Burg. I'm the CMO of the Algorand Foundation, and I started about 3 months ago.
Excellent. You've been doing a great job so far. All right, so let's talk about the big thing that everyone's excited about, especially on Twitter, is the Algorand commercial. Can we talk about why it was made, a little bit how it was made and the reception of that commercial?
Yeah, so it was kind of funny how it came about. It was only, I think I was here for about 2 weeks or something like that, and Governor had one of our active community members reached out and said, Marc, you absolutely have to read this script, and this is serious, and you have to film this. And I remember I was in Boston at that time with Stacy, and we were looking at the script and saying like, oh, this is actually pretty good, and maybe we should do this. And so that's how it originally started. And so I reached out to a couple of creative people that I know, and we got a little crew together. We got a lot of people, 2 people from the community, Rich Flair and Barb, joined us on set, and they performed as actors. As talent in the commercial, and so it ended up going quite viral.
It sure did. And it's always great, like, Governor had Rich Flair, Barb, straight from the Algorand community. They all been here, and then to see it all put together has been amazing. A lot of views. Yeah,
and it's been something that was created by the community in a way, because they came up with the script. I mean, they performed in the commercial, and then afterwards it went completely viral, but it's also thanks to the community, because they were spreading the word about it. We didn't spend a single marketing dollar in promoting the video, and it had 2 million views in like 1 or 2 days.
Yeah,
so
and
it was super exciting to see.
Yeah, the reaction of other like ecosystems as well was like, it was like, whoa, yeah. So I think
the Maxis were upset.
Maxis, big time. So I thought that was great. So what could we expect next from your marketing? We seen a picture. I think it was New York. People were taking pictures, you may be filming something else, right? Can you talk about what's next, and then also some of the challenges you have to overcome to spread the word about Algorand?
Yeah, I think that as I announced in my presentation, we have a very busy program for the rest of the year. So we refreshed our brand. We launched a completely new website. We're going to create a new awareness campaign for Algorand to raise Algorand's profile. We're going to put our ecosystem projects at the center of that, because we have a very vibrant ecosystem, and it'd be great to actually have these projects be at the center of any new kind of marketing campaign we do. We continue to heavily focus on developers, and specifically Python developers, because we have a great solution for Python developers, and still working with the community. I remember when I was at Google running Android marketing, we called our community the Android Army, and I look at it in the same way. We have the Algorand Army, and so it's 400,000 people strong, and they have a much louder voice than I have by myself. And so really leveraging that community and working with them and engaging with them, listening to them as well, I think is going to be great for Algorand as a whole. And so they're our secret weapon.
Yeah, definitely. Excuse me. Big shout out to the Algo fam. You guys always showing up. Yeah. So when it comes to the community, as we're talking about, what is the best ways that you can give some advice to them about how can they spread the message and help promote what's going on and what's being produced here?
Well, they are super important to us, right? And I think we can create the kind of basic tools and the messaging, and which is what we're doing. We're going to make it all open source, make it available to the community. But like it's great for them to basically what they're already doing today, which is to kind of grab these messaging, grab these stories, and just spread them as far as they can. They've also been great at helping us with our Fix the Data project, right? Which is the idea was to go out and see what data about Algorand is outdated. They've been reporting back to us and say like we found like some mistake there. So they have like hundreds of thousands of eyes. I only have 2, and so having them be out there reporting that, and also then pressuring analytics providers that are having out of date data I think is a great help to us as well. So they've been great at this, and so we continue to engage with them and hope that they keep pushing the message.
Yeah. So we're talking about like GitHub repos. Give a couple more examples of
GitHub
those.
repos is not a great example, right? So over the last 2 weeks, thanks to community effort and our developer effort, we've submitted 86 new repos to Electric Capital. So you'll see the count of active developers on Algorand go up. Not because suddenly the number of developers went up significantly, but the reporting of it has been better.
Accurate.
And has been much more accurate. We've been significantly underreported in that field, and so being able to correct these things is really important, and the community is crucial to make these things happen.
Yeah, because we see a lot of like graphics is like putting let's say Solana or HBAR with some transactions or finality time, then Algorand's either left out or does have old data. So
what will also help is we just announced a partnership with Nansen, right? And Nansen is one of the top analytics providers in the market, one of the top 3, and is used widely by the media, by investors, by traders, and having Algorand there. I think it's going to be a great help for us as well.
Excellent. That sounds great. So y'all hear this, make sure you keep reporting and making action. So let's talk about USDC and let's say versus Tether in a sense. There was a recent post online where Tether, I guess, is pulling back a little bit from Algorand, maybe a few others. And at the same time at this conference, we get an announcement of USDCA on Coinbase. So that's live now at the time of this video. I checked myself. It's good to see it. So what's your thoughts there? And then also about the MiCA regulations, if you can explain a little bit what that means to the audience.
Yeah, so I won't go into the MiCA regulation. That's a very kind of like technical policy thing, so that I wouldn't be the best qualified to go into that. But I can talk about USDC and USDT for sure. So USDC, I mean, this was the most requested thing from our community, is like make sure USDC is available on Coinbase. And so we're super happy that this is finally the case. And so it's live today, so I think it will help the community a lot. So we're very excited about that. For USDT, I mean, we welcome any stablecoin on Algorand, and the fact that they decided to no longer be there, of course, is regretful. And but at the same time, we don't really control, how much a stablecoin is being used. It's really community driven. Like whether USDT is used or USDC is used is really up to the community to decide how they use it.
So excellent. So as we start to close out, can you would like anything else that you would like to share, or any shout outs about this event?
Well, the only thing I would say is that I've only been 3 months in, and I feel super grateful for the community for welcoming me, and I think it's been a great 3 months, and I really look forward to continue to engage with the community, listen to the community, and work with them to spread the word about Algorand. So I'm very excited about the future. Yeah,
because they, for the last few years, they're like, win marketing. Marketing is here now. So that's good. Well, thank you, Marc.
Well, no, thank you for your time.
Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome back. We have another special interview with our guest here. You met him before, Benedetto of Folks Finance.
It's great to be back.
Yes, definitely. So again, for the audience who haven't met you, just a quick breakdown. What is Folks Finance and your name?
My name is Benedetto Biondi. I'm the CEO of Folks Finance. Folks is the largest DeFi app on Algorand. We launched in early 2022. And since that time, we kept building, growing. We were at the very beginning on the lending protocol. And you know us since that time. And we kept adding tools to the offering. So as today, we have a DeFi hub, which has lending, liquid staking, swaps, leverage trading, on-off ramp, and leverage liquid staking. So our mission is basically try to have an alternative to centralized exchange, but built on DeFi. Because if you want to have mass users adoption, you cannot learn doing 5 different things. You need to have one place where you learn one UI and everything is concentrated. That is our idea.
Makes sense. Thank you for that. Make sure y'all try Folks Finance if you haven't already. So it's been very active on Twitter with your announcements and things of that nature, and people are very excited about your expansion. Can you break down what's the purpose of some of these strategic investments, and maybe name a couple and what you guys plan to do cross-chain?
Yes, so for us the expansion is pretty understanding, like we want to be able to have a broader audience, and we always thought like how we can expand And you know, being Algorand non-EVM, it was for us kind of tricky to find out a solution, because if you are in an EVM chain, you're just going to fork your protocol, which requires very low effort. But for us, the effort to rebuild everything from scratch basically would mean end up having an ugly version of Folks on another chain, which would never be like the Algorand one. So in the beginning of 2023, we started to review messaging layers, technologies, and cross-chain dApps, and we really liked the idea. So we thought that, okay, if we need to rebuild what we have done on Algorand, let's do it in a way that it's going to be omni-chain by default. That it's going to be everywhere, and we don't need all the time to fork the protocol, which is, I would say in the previous bull run, all the apps would do this. Now a lot of apps are switching towards this cross-chain system, which the advantages are mainly two. You unify the liquidity between networks, and as well you are going to have a much easier user experience. So the final target with this expansion is to have everything that we have built so far in terms of tools, but all in a cross-chain narrative, where the end user no needs to be concerned on which network is transacting, on paying gas fees, on bridging. All of these must be abstracted to the end users if we really want DeFi to go towards centralized exchange.
So that's like, you know, I saw we got wrapped AVAX, wrapped link, and those things of that nature. So it'll be able to like use your algos, use any of those.
Correct. So the way it will work, so basically what we are building specifically, it's the cross-chain lending protocol. And you need to imagine like you will be able to connect with your Algorand wallet, use your algo, and algo will be staying on the Algorand smart contract, but you will be able to borrow, let's say, AVAX on Avalanche. And you can choose on which network to deliver the asset. Of course, like if you want AVAX to be delivered on Algorand, will be wrapped AVAX. But you could keep it in the native chain, because you will have dashboard account which allow you to manage different assets on different networks.
So y'all been cooking over
there. Yeah, man, this is going to be like boiling my brain after 1 year we are building it. You know, like it's
nice.
It's tricky.
So that's great development. So let's talk about this event a little bit here. We're at Decipher. What are you liking? You know, there's announcements about USDC, all kind of things are happening.
We miss the Decipher, man. Like I've been done Decipher every year since the very beginning, and it's always beautiful to come and meet friends and the Algo fam. You know, like our love for Algorand.
Yes.
It's we are here from day one, and I really love it because it's very well organized. You have a lot of ways to interact with people, and you know, like those media rooms are fantastic. I'm having like 6 interviews today. This is the best though.
Appreciate it.
But it feels good to be back with the Algo fam, really. And I love the strategy that the foundation is taking. I think we are in very good hands now. Love what John is doing on the technical roadmap. Marc, the new entry, is fantastic. Like we are all appreciating his work. So I think we are playing very good.
Yes, I agree. It's been great, a really focused event, and I think this is what needs to be done as well. So shout out to the Algorand Foundation team.
Should we announce a little bit what's coming for liquid staking?
Well, please do so.
So, folks, we know that like for us, the consensus incentives, we have been running it from our own DeFi rewards from the TDR with Algo. So we previously already did this effort of using rewards to securing the network with our own rewards. Since Algorand is now switching towards the incentivized consensus, we decided that it's going to be very good for the ecosystem if we deploy, of course, our liquid staking, which is going to be Algo, in advance before the foundation does the official upgrade of the consensus. So similarly to how we did before, we are going to push rewards from our own TDR batch in order to start to develop the Algo ecosystem. So we are going to have DeFi integrated, NFT integrators as payment methods, so that when the foundation launches day one, there will be already a primary liquid staking option powered by Folks Finance that it's widely let's say, adopted. So
that's
this
smart.
is coming in the summer.
Yeah.
We have been working on it a lot. It's under audit, so yeah. as always, we
Hey,
take care of
y'all,
it.
y'all heard it here on the next block. That was great. That was what I was gonna say. You need anything else to share, but you just done shared the goods right there.
Of course.
Well, again, I appreciate you, Benedetto.
Thank
It's
you for
great to
having
have
me
you on.
here.
Welcome back to another interview. We have a special guest. Y'all seen him recently, my guy, Abdul.
Hey, well,
Yes.
it's great to be here with you guys.
Most definitely. So we have Gora here, and we're gonna break down some few things for y'all. So let's start with talking about nodes. What are nodes, and explain this to the audience that don't know what it is, because I know a lot of people have been tapping in with that.
Yeah, for sure. So, in blockchain in general, decentralization happens because you have, like, it used to be called miners, and now they're like validators, where they just run a node and they process transactions on the ecosystem, right? So, Gora, from day one, we wanted to be as decentralized as possible.
Okay.
And so what we did was we made a node very easy to run, and anybody can run a node. And so when a request happens on chain, it's serviced by the Gora node, where they get data or they need to run some computation. And really, a node is just a software program that's making sure it responds to whatever the smart contracts are asking for, right? And so anybody can just kind of download the software and run it on a computer, your home
So
computer.
laptop, PC.
Laptop, PC, very lightweight.
So software to your laptop, and then
And then you stake some Gora on there, and then you just hit start, and then it just, in the background, just let it run, and it works to process all the requests that are coming in.
oh, okay, yeah, simple
Yeah.
as that. Okay,
It's that simple.
Yeah,
that
and then
simple.
so for users who don't have a node, what's that process?
So if you don't have a node, you can still contribute to the security of the Gora network, right? The more nodes we have, obviously, the more decentralized it is. We're one of the one of the key projects out there in general that have completely permissionless nodes, and so it's really easy. But there's a minimum of 10K Gora, and that fluctuates between a few grand every month.
Yep.
So it might be a bit prohibitive. But even if you have a single Gora token, you can still contribute by delegating your Gora to a validator. And a validator is just somebody who runs a regular node, but they can take on someone's Gora and use that for voting. So it's non-custodial. They don't take a hold of your Gora, but you can allow them to use your Gora to vote and process requests. And things
So right now, I mean, shout out Bambino node. That's I'm using
Bambino,
Bambino.
we're shouting them out first.
Yeah.
yeah. Bambino, it's amazing. So they were the first NFT project. They created their own node, and they take the rewards and they distribute it to their own community. And so I think they really jump-started this whole thing where people bring their own communities, run a node, and it's been really growing ever since.
Yeah, that's amazing. So let's talk about some of the other partnerships or other nodes on the platform. I know you guys are being more global here, so let's break that down.
Yeah, so there's different sort of classes, right? There's the enterprise, the institutional. So
Okay.
they run chain link nodes. Chain link nodes are permission. Only select people get it. So Instone's 0-1 node, they're some of the biggest validators in the space. They validate for Gora. So with them, you know they're gonna have 100% uptime.
Like
close to
Radix,
it.
I think I seen that. Like yeah.
Go Radix. So,
Okay.
so that's another type. So then we have communities, right? So these communities are like the Radix community. There's the NFT communities,
Yep.
right? And then there's also geographic. So like we have a Japanese community, and all the Japanese, they have their own Telegram. Recently, we have the Somalia nodes, and they've been really coming together and building their own nodes and sort of supporting their own Gora Somalia.
Okay.
And there's Ukrainian one. So really, we see like node validator communities based on geography, as well. And then you have like other ones. So we have a lot of node operators that come from like Cosmos, where it's really popular.
Yeah.
Right?
Shout out to
Yeah,
Cosmos.
yeah.
I
So,
like Cosmos.
like
too.
Validatrium and some of those guys, and they bring their own communities from Cosmos to Algorand, and so it's been
It's
amazing.
actually smart, yeah.
Yeah, it's been really cool seeing just the diversity in the validator sets and the growth. And now the majority of tokens that are circulating are all staked to validators. So it's been, for the security of the system, it means like there's not even enough Gora out there to attack because it's all staked, right? And so it's been amazing seeing the growth in these communities and what decentralization can do if you do it right.
Yeah, that sounds very decentralized. So you're talking about Somalia, Japan, all the NFTs, institutions, Chainlink. You said that's huge.
Chainlink node operators also operating for us.
Okay, Cosmos people. That
Cosmos
sounds
validators. Yeah.
Okay, y'all doing your thing. I like that.
Yeah.
So we here at Decipher, right?
Yeah.
Now that y'all got to understand nodes and validators, let's talk about what you've seen at this event here. Like we have a lot of big announcements that's been happening. But from last Decipher to this Decipher, what do you see like a difference and what you liking about here?
Yeah, so I mean, last Decipher was, I think, the start of the FTX was collapsing.
Yeah.
There's so much scare. And what happened, we saw was like a lot of the people kind of left that were just here to make money, and we saw just developers and builders that stayed. And now, as sort of the hype is coming back, we're seeing much better products that were built during this time, right? Where there's no pressure to get to market.
Yep.
And so some of the announcements and products we've seen today on display has been insane and really cool technology. So we're really excited for sort of the tech, as we always were. But now it's getting more and more exciting.
Yes, I think so too. That big one we've been talking about is the USDC.
On Coinbase, yeah.
Yeah, because
I have a feeling it's just the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the way they've been talking and all they've been doing behind the scenes. I have a feeling it's just the start.
Yeah, I feel like the energy is back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could say that.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, thank you, Abdul. Is there any shout outs or any things you'd like to say to the team?
Shout out to Sewell, shout out to the Next Block. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it today.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, Abdul.
Awesome, man.
Thank you. Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to another interview here at Decipher. I'm sitting with Ted of Exa Market. So for the audience who haven't seen you in a while or met you before, tell them a little bit about yourself, who Ted is, what you're doing, and we'll go into Exa Market.
Sure. So I'm Ted, the CEO of Exa Market, and Exa Market is an NFT marketplace on the Algorand blockchain.
So y'all know V2 is live now. So let's dive right into V2. What's the difference, we'll say, between version 1 and version 2? What's happening?
This is a great question because we started working on Exa back in 2021. So it's been like quite some time. And this week we just introduced the V2. And the V2 is coming with a lot of features, a brand new design. I guess that you guys saw the rebranding as well on our Twitter page.
Yep.
And we are really excited about it because when we started Exa, we wanted to become the best NFT marketplace on the space. So right now we are really proud about the V2.
Yeah, it looks really good, clean UI and everything. So I like it. Rebranding is great. Make sure y'all tap in if y'all haven't. So what's the features? Let's talk about some of the features of difference of like minting projects. Like what's going on with the features there?
Yeah, absolutely. So we really worked hard on the design because we wanted to have like the best UI, and especially for the NFTs, the creators, you want to have like the best place to showcase your piece of art. And on Algorand, I would say that this is something that was missing, because when you see the overall ecosystem, Solana, Ethereum, and so on, you see that the marketplaces are much more advanced, I would say, and we really worked on having a best design with the feed view. With the feed view, you can really navigate easily.
Scrolling through. Yeah.
And we also introduced the studio. So the studio is the main feature because now we allow artists to mint NFTs, to create collections in a really easy fashion because you can follow a guide and you can easily upload your creation.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, because before it was secondary market, right?
Yes, actually it was a secondary market and we did a few drops, but it was like private. So right now it is public and anybody can drop a collection at a fixed price at auction. Shuffle are coming during this summer because we did not want to release everything at once, because when we move from V1 to V2, there are like a lot of changes and we are going to roll out every features every single week.
Oh, every single week?
Okay. I don't want to say too much, but this is the plan.
Yeah, so that's nice. So right now we said we got shuffles, we got the still secondary, we have main launch, a lot of different, some of the tokens, what else can you buy assets with again on there?
Yeah, so you can actually buy NFTs with obviously Algorand, USDC, Gora, Coop, Pepe, Akita, and much more. And this is a great transition because with the V2, if you are a serious project that want to unlock new utility to your token, you can make a request on the studio on Exa Market for us to add your token as a means of payment. So this is really huge, and we need more ASA on Algorand.
Yeah,
so it will be the opportunity to grow your community as well because NFTs are great to onboard new people. It is pretty much the easiest way for people to get onboarded, and we are going to be happy to add your token. There will be some fees for the service, but pretty much anybody can apply.
Nice. So y'all hear that? Make sure. So this is huge for those community projects that I know some of y'all are dropping new tokens soon. It's got to be happening. I've been hearing rumors.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to community, since we're talking about community a little bit, y'all been doing community programs, right? And people's been really tapped in different campaigns. Is there anything community related, like season 3 of the Exa Rewards program, anything like that coming?
Yes, this is really spot on because for Exa Market, we really use the rewards program to attract new users on the platform. And it's been like, quite some time since we, pretty much paused the program to focus on the V2. But with the V2, we know that we have a great product, and you guys know that having a great product is not enough. You need to have a way to distribute, to market it, because if nobody knows about it, what's the point? So you are going to get the alpha first.
Let's go.
So we have a huge announcement this week at Decipher. The announcement is that we are partnering with CoinList to do a rewards campaign. So CoinList, for those that don't know what it is pretty much one of the biggest platform, if not the biggest, to do rewards program, to do ICOs and so on. So we got in contact with them, and we are really happy to announce this to you guys. And CoinList, they have about 10 million users. So hopefully we are going to attract some of these users to the Algorand community. And we need to have more awareness, more project on Algorand doing big partnership. So this is the big announcement. And this rewards program is going to start this summer, and it is going to last for about 3 months. Okay. I got a second alpha.
Okay, let them have it.
From this rewards program, the way that it will work, and don't quote me on this because it can evolve over time, is that we are going to reward collectors for buying and selling NFTs. We are going to reward creators for launching a collection, launching a drop on Exa Market. There is going to be a leaderboard similarly to what we did before. And at the end of the 3 months of the campaign, the points will be converted into Exa token.
Oh, Exa token.
Yes, absolutely.
Ooh, okay. Well, y'all heard it here. Yeah. Congratulations
Thank
on
you
that.
very much.
Yeah. It's been a long time coming. So I've seen the very beginnings of Exa Market. Big shout out, to the Exa team. Really appreciate y'all over here. So we here at Decipher, right? You just launched some crazy alpha. What is the big difference you've seen from the last Decipher to this Decipher?
Yes, so last Decipher was 2 years ago in Dubai. I would say that, in terms of similarity, it is quite warm in Barcelona, like in Dubai.
It's definitely hot.
But what I noticed is that I feel that the community is much more mature. And I feel that, with all the changes, from the foundations, it is a real transformation. We can see, with Stacy, John Woods, Marc, Min, Showana, and much more. I cannot mention everybody, but I see that the momentum is here. There is this huge announcements with the USDC on Coinbase finally, and we need to have much more ASA listed on big exchanges. I think this will help the Algorand ecosystem, similarly to what you can see on other competitors. It is really positive to meet everybody finally, behind the PFP.
I met a lot of people. I was like, oh, that's you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just see a handle and some NFT, basically.
Yes. So it is quite nice, and I'm really happy, to see the momentum.
Yes, agreed. Like you said, the USDC unlocks that Coinbase now knows how to make that move, right? So that the programming, the development, all of that is there now, and hopefully we see a lot more partnerships with them. I think that would be great. To finish out a little bit more about this event here, the focus of it. How you feel about the focus of the developer and did you get to attend any of the workshops or see any pitches or anything like that?
Yes, I actually presented for the ecosystem API showcase. So I think this is a great way for the community and the new developers to understand what we are doing into Web3, because it is quite difficult from the outside, coming from Web2 to get into a blockchain to get started. So I think that Algorand Foundation did a great job to onboard new people and to also give us the opportunity to showcase what we are made of. So it was the opportunity to talk about the V2, to talk about the API, and shout out to my CTO Marc that worked really hard on the platform. He's the main guy behind the V2. So really grateful.
Excellent. That's great. Well, again, make sure y'all check out Exa Market V2. You heard all the good stuff there. Can't wait for the summer to continue to roll out. And then thank you, Ted, for being a guest on the next block.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, most definitely. Welcome back to another interview. We have a guest here, Cal of Algorand Casino. How's it going?
It's going good, man. It's going good. Decipher is fantastic. I've been running around meeting lots of people over the last 2 days, and this is my first Decipher.
Oh, okay.
Honestly,
first time. Y'all give him a hand out there in the audience.
All right. Having a ball. It's great. It's really good fun.
Excellent. So let's do a breakdown. You've been on the channel before, but it's been a while, and we have a lot of new audience. Can you tell them who you are in terms of your positioning with your company and what y'all are working on?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Cal Gallagher. I am the owner of Algorand Casino. We have a project on the blockchain. The thing that sets our project apart from other casinos is the fact that we give 50% of our casino profits back to our stakers. So anybody who holds our coins or holds our LP tokens, they can stake them every single week, and 50% of the profits that we make that week, we give them straight to the stakers. So it's kind of crazy. A casino gives people money, right?
Yeah, I like that. So the house wins, the people win, everyone. That's good odds right there.
That's the idea. We all know that in general, casino games, they have an edge, and so over time, statistically, you are more likely to lose money in a casino than you are to win. And so because of that stat, the casino makes a profit almost every week, and we give 50% of that profit to our stakers. Now, very importantly, when someone does win a lot of money, and it happens, the casino can make a loss. Our stakers will never ever face that loss. We eat that ourselves. So your chips through the staking will never leave your wallet. It's like Algorand governance, it's soft staking. And if you have chips, you get to get more chips every single week. It's pretty incredible.
So chips is the Algorand ASA?
Yeah, chips is our ASA. We are the #1 token on Vestige, depending on when this goes out. But we're currently the #1 token on Vestige by TVL. I hope we're going to keep it there. So yeah, it's been really, really successful for us.
Excellent. So poker players right here, y'all had a tournament last night. Can you tell them about how that experience was? I walked in there, I seen you, and there was a lot of people up in there.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit more about that and how the experience was.
So I went to a conference, a non-crypto conference a few years ago, and they were holding this type of poker night thing. And I thought, I love playing poker. It's the way I created my project. And I thought this would be a really exciting thing to do at Decipher. We'll get a few people together. If you see me yesterday, I was in absolute panic. I was worried, what if no one shows up? It's like someone might come and play with me just. And I paid to rent this room. I paid for a free bar, lots of food. And so I was very, very nervous. The foundation did help me out, so thank you, foundation.
Hey.
And we had 32 chairs set out and 34 people showed up. So it was like, this is awesome. It was an incredible experience. There was a lot of laughing. There was a few people getting upset that they lost. It was like, don't forget, you lost a free tournament, so you didn't lose anything. And our winner, a guy called Alejandro Montfort. Hi, Alejandro. He won a full Algorand Casino poker set and 100 USDC, and our runner-up, Brian, won another 100 USDC as well. So it was a really good experience. I loved it.
Yeah, great turnout, and shout out to the winners there. That's dope. So, in terms of, let's talk a little bit about y'all roadmap, if you could share anything, and also give us a little of some of y'all accomplishments or what you feel good about with your company project.
Oh, what I feel good about. Okay, let's talk a little bit roadmap. We've got something exciting coming up. So we've got a lottery app that's going to launch next week. It's going to be very much like Powerball in the US or the UK lottery in England or the Euro Millions in Europe, with the idea that the user picks 5 numbers, and if they get 3 numbers, they get a small prize. If they get 4 numbers, they get a bigger prize. If they get 5 numbers, they get the jackpot, which is exciting. But the jackpot's really hard to win. It's like, 2.4 million to 1 kind of odds. So the idea is that jackpot will roll over and get bigger and bigger every single week, and then it locks away chips, of course, and it becomes an advertising mechanism for us to say, look at the size of this lotto every week, it's going to get bigger. So just like the Powerball or the other lotteries in your geographic areas. So that's what I'm really excited about.
We're talking about all on the blockchain.
And that's a full smart contract. It's all on chain. We're using the random number generator, which comes from the AVM. I don't know the technicals ins and out because I'm not the developer, but it's all on chain, and it's really, really exciting. So the techie guys can get in there and have a look and be impressed with what we've done. But really, we want to maintain that ease of use for our typical user.
I love it. Okay, so in terms of what, some of the things that you're really proud of, what y'all been doing, you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So. Shortly after I started this project, I started learning about NFTs. It was kind of new to me. I didn't really, if I'm honest with you, I'm not an artist. I don't really appreciate art either, which sounds like a horrible thing to say. It's true though. Yeah. And so I found out about these NFTs, and I really liked the idea of a utility NFT. So we started developing NFTs. Now at the time, people are scared, right? Sometimes about projects that go rogue and things that go wrong. So we sold these NFTs for chips, and we said that all of our NFTs are fully refundable. So we have like 4 or 5 NFTs out there. Every single one of them that could be bought are fully refundable at any time. But what's happening is people are trading them for algos on places like Algo Gems or Rand Gallery, and we then get a cut of like 10% of the sale price. And that's actually turned into an incredible revenue generator for us. But we've maintained that trust with everybody, with the fact that, listen, if you don't like it, if you're not happy with the performance of your NFT, the utility it does, we'll give you your money back. We'll give you all your chips back. So when I say that NFTs is a good thing, what I'm trying to get to is that we've built this transparent trust with our community. We're not trying to steal anyone's coins or anything. We're trying to run a business. We want to clearly earn money out of that to pay people's salaries.
Yep.
But we will maintain that trust by doing right by our community. 50% of the profits go back, and everything's fully refundable when it comes to NFTs as well.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, I remember last time he was on the show, we was there playing live streaming. So
were
make
playing
sure,
poker?
go check that episode out. I'm working on my skills, you know. Next time I'll do a little better probably.
Yeah, JT was playing very well.
Yeah, he was
I don't
doing
think,
good.
I don't think you were doing so good.
No. I didn't know what was going on.
I think you said, I've got an A. What's it?
It was just a good experience for me.
It was fun. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
So we have the poker app. It's running 24/7 cash games.
Irra Life Algo was on there, I remember. Yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah. So we get a lot of attendance on it. AJ plays on it from time to time as
Yeah.
well. Actually, he was playing in the poker tournament last night. He was very upset that he lost.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, so excellent. As we slowly start to close out, what do you like about your first Decipher experience, and how's it been going for you?
What I like about it is shaking hands, getting to meet people behind these crazy Discord names that don't make any sense,
Yeah.
and they're actual real people. I'm always surprised when I meet someone and they are taller than I imagine, or they're female.
That's what
when
you
I thought
said
they
to
were
me.
male. Yeah, you're a lot taller than I was expecting,
Yeah.
man. It's like on the screen you look this size. But yeah, for me it's the networking.
Yeah.
It's all. I am learning things from time to time. The announcements, of course, is great. I tend to prefer to learn though in a dark room on my laptop. So what I'm here for is the networking experience and getting to know the community and seeing how positive everybody is.
Yep.
The Algo fam really is like a family, man. It's so close, and people do want to help you out. Projects are offering to share things with each other. I've had some great conversations with other projects, and we've got some collaborations which are likely to come up as long as we get a few things signed and across the line. But there's just such a good opportunity here and a really, really good vibe. I love it. I think the Foundation's done a fantastic job with Decipher.
Yeah, agreed. Yes, it's been a great time, and then I'm excited what they're gonna do next.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So thank you, Cal, for being on the show.
No problem, man.
Appreciate you. Welcome back to another interview. This is going to be a good one. We're sitting here with Sanzar of HesabPay. How you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Yes. So, could we start off with a introduction of kind of what you do with HesabPay, and then a breakdown of what exactly is for our audience here?
Sure thing. So my name is Sanzar. I'm the chairman of a group of companies that includes HesabPay. I'm the founder of HesabPay.
Excellent.
And we lead a team of about 250 people working on the product.
Okay, and what exactly is this product here?
HesabPay is a global payment platform. So you can send money to anyone, anywhere, anytime using the platform. But what we specifically focus on is humanitarian aid.
Okay.
So people that need money the most in the most difficult parts of the world, widows and orphans, people hit by humanitarian disasters. It's really difficult to get money to them because more often than not, they're in unbanked jurisdictions where you can't get them through a bank. But HesabPay is then there to save the day.
Okay, so how's it used? You said like mobile. What's the way that people are accessing this?
Sure, there's 3 different ways.
Okay.
So if they have a smartphone and internet, then yes, they can just download the HesabPay app from Android or iPhone and use that app. Mostly it's the merchants and the shopkeepers that use the mobile or smartphone version. The second way is through a feature phone. So if you don't have internet, or if you just have the old flip phones, you can dial the number in your country to come up with a menu. It's called USSD, which basically means that you don't need internet for it, and you would see your balance, you can send money, you can pay your bills, everything just through that menu on a regular flip phone, without internet, without connectivity, without anything else. And then the third way is through just a plastic debit card. So we're integrated with MasterCard, but also we have our own local scheme called AFPay.
Okay. And so I know you're out in Afghanistan a lot. That's what I'm seeing online. Can you talk about the impact there, and then how blockchain works throughout this whole system?
Sure. So yes, I'm from Afghanistan, and what we were trying to do is solve a lot of the problems with the banking system in Afghanistan. We're looking, of course, to expand globally to many other countries where we can use it to help people. Our goal is to help as many people as we can. That's our mission. In Afghanistan, people used to have to wait in long lines at a center where they would kind of have to travel to. So if you can imagine, a widow mother that has very young children has to travel, spend money out of her pocket to go to a center where they bring bags of cash and then you have to wait in line for 7 hours with your little kids
sounds crazy.
before you get a little bit of money to then go to the shop to buy some food to eat, as opposed to HesabPay. Once you're signed up, you have your card. Every month you get your funds. You can go straight to the shop, buy what you want in a very dignified, humane, efficient way, as opposed to this very slow, inefficient, process that's there. So helping the most vulnerable people is the key focus that we're trying to do, and it makes impacts in all their lives constantly. Not only in terms of saving money, in terms of being efficient, in terms of saving their time. Because if they're away from their family, or maybe they're trying to work on a farm or something else, that's also time lost, as opposed to where they can do that. It also opens the world for digital inclusion. We don't realize how many things we take for granted by just being able to pay through a card or something like that. But people that have cash, how do you send money to your family and friends? How do you raise money? How do you pay your electric bill, right? You'd have to go to the nearest town, wait in line at a bank, give your piece of paper of your electric bill, pay it in cash, and come back, which wastes your whole day, away from other productivity, other things you could do to contribute. And so the benefits just are keep expanding and help the communities, and we hope to keep expanding on that with new products in the future, including things like microfinance or access to credit. So it's not just giving humanitarian donations, but helping them think about, well, what could I do to set up my own little shop or stand, or get a cow and sell milk or some chickens, or all these different things.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. The whole concept of, as you know, teaching how to fish instead of just fishing.
Yeah, excellent.
Just eating
okay.
fish.
Yeah, so the Algo fam online, a lot of the Twitter community, they bring up HesabPay a lot, and they're really focused on the blockchain technology. So what is it about Algorand that interests you to integrate and partner with Algorand?
So we knew right from the beginning that we wanted to be on the blockchain. We needed something that could be very clear. People didn't have any faith in institutions.
Yep.
There had been runs on the banks. People had lost their money. After the change in government in 2021, actually people could only withdraw a certain amount of money from their bank account. So even if it was their own money in the bank, they put limits on how much you could withdraw. So they just didn't have any faith. Why should I put my money someplace where I could lose it? And so we wanted to have something that's very, very clear, proof, auditable, immutable. Anyone could check on it, transparent. So the values of blockchain really mesh well. We originally started on Stellar, but the costs of running the nodes and the processing transactions were enormous. We had to create our own nodes and servers, and it just kept cannonballing, snowballing, to a great extent. So finally, we after learning about Algorand, how quickly it was, we didn't have to set up all these nodes, so it was much cheaper for us, instant, and then a lot of support from the Algorand Foundation. We were able to shift over to that and specifically use Algorand as the blockchain of choice for all of our transactions. Everything's on the blockchain.
Damn, that's great. And it makes sense, zero finality, zero downtime. And that has been a lot of problem with people trying to build on other things, like Stellar, Ethereum, and whatnot. The expense is crazy. And then, just very interesting. And I like what y'all doing. So can we take a look at the future, like the next 6 months, 2024, early 2025? What are y'all planning, is there any other countries you're currently working on expanding to?
Sure thing. So we've been so far focused on Afghanistan. We want to hit that critical mass. We have over 500,000 users. There's over 250,000 users or households that pay their bills every month on it. We have 3 billion Afghani of transactions that go back and forth between users. They top up their phone through it. So we're getting there, and we want to keep expanding. We want to in Afghanistan as much as we can. But then because we've been able to use it in Afghanistan, we want to try to see if we can replicate that in other countries where similar organizations are there. So we, for example, work with Save the Children, with Mercy Corps, with UNDP, with UNICEF, all these organizations that are helping and doing great work in Afghanistan, but they also are doing that in other countries. And they're facing the same problems with being able to try to distribute cash, or even to pay their own employees to be able to operate and send funds for their own operations. It's very, very difficult in these countries where there aren't any proper banking systems. So how do you send money to a country like that? And so probably we are going to start with the more difficult countries first, but then as we roll out globally, it's going to be wherever people find use for it. And we're hoping to make it the best, most useful product and then people would gravitate, to something that's easy, fast, efficient, quick, reliable, secure.
Makes sense. So when it comes to like Afghanistan, just about like the beginning, do you start in the big cities or were y'all in the towns? Like what areas was the main focus or adoption at?
Great question. So yes, we started in Kabul, and then it's the capital. It's the big population. A lot of the operations were there, but then as we grew, we said, hey, we really need a presence around the whole country. Okay. So Afghanistan has 34 provinces, and we set up a brick and mortar branch in every province of the country. So we have 34 brick and mortar branches where people can come in, cash money into their wallet, or cash out money from their wallet. So we do a lot of payroll, for example, where people, want to pay people around the whole country. There aren't banks in all the provinces, but there's HesabPay everywhere. And so you can send it to them instantly through Algorand, and they get their payroll, on the dot, the same time and date every month, and they can just go to their nearest branch if they want to cash out, or to the shop to spend it digitally online. So then those 34 provincial capitals was the second phase. Okay. The third phase is then for very rural areas where some places, hey, you can't even get to by car. It's a few days by horse or donkey or in the mountains, especially in the winter when the roads are blocked. It's very difficult to get those places. And so for those areas, we have to do a lot more planning. The users don't need to have connectivity, but we need to have the merchants or the onboarders to have connectivity to
someone has to have it, yeah.
So we set up a satellite link for internet in that area to set everyone up. Once everyone has a card, everyone's registered, then we can move on to another area. So from Kabul, like you said, to then the 34 provinces, and then to the most distant areas, which are more kind of one-off events that we have to go to onboard people.
Amazing. Loving the work. Yeah. So I'll definitely be following this project for sure. As we close out, is there anything else you'd like to share or tell them about what y'all working on?
Yes, we are just so excited to integrate HesabPay with other Algorand projects, especially with programs in other countries. So we're trying to be as open as possible, to expand as possible, to kind of bring value to people anywhere in the world. Our goal is to help as many people as we can, and we can't just do it alone. The more people we have together, the more ways we can join forces, the more champions we can find in each country, the better it'll be for everyone.
I love it. Much respect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, what's good, y'all? Appreciate you all tapping in. Want to say a big shout out to all the guests that was on the show here in Barcelona, Spain at the Algorand Decipher Conference 2024. It's been great interviews, a lot of content, and we'll see you on the next show. Peace.